Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Abishai Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutations to all my fellow Akim who are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Alright, to the confusion of face brothers that are joined unto our ranks. To the Akwakim, the hopefully elect that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. Disclaimer. We are the Hebrew Israelites by blood, which was a melanated, dark melanated group of people originally, but through chattel slavery and scattering and being put out our land, part of the curses that fell upon Israel, we do not all look so. We are not associated with any denominations of black organizations or black identity groups. We have no connection to that. We do not claim that. We're not a part of that. All right. The Hebrew Israelites, for the most part, make up the so-called Negroes, so-called Native Americans, so-called Latinos, and of course, our scattered brethren among the heathen nations. All right, that have been among the heathen nations as a curse, as punishment all this time, and the Lord is coming back to gather them. That is who we are. That is what we're about. Getting the message out to the four corners of the earth via the internet. The internet was created for us. All right, for this truth to go out to the four corners of the earth, because fake, false, colonial, plantation Christianity has gone to the four corners of the earth for well over 500 years, and the Lord has not returned. And the prophecies didn't really start lining up like they did until the Hebrew Israelites began to teach their message. And now you see things happening just as we say they were going to happen, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. All right. So with that said and done, we're going to go into the lesson. This is a quick video about Okinawa, Japan, a place that I have spent time. And you can see that the heathens are really tired of Esau, Edom as well. And the presence of Esau, Edom is not welcome among the heathens, among the nations in the world. All right. And the nations are coming back together, and mainly Ammon and Moab, who are brothers anyway. Just like Jacob and Esau are brothers, Ammon and Moab are brothers, man. And Ammon and Moab is being forced back together mainly because of the policy of Esau. Esau only wants Okinawa, Japan, because it's a strategic place so that it could launch war against the Far East and keep those people in checks with his military power. That's what it's all about. So let's let some of the video play, and I'm going to give a commentary in scripture as it goes.
Moving on to some other international news now, over to Okinawa Prefecture in Japan, where the U.S. military presence in the region is in question following recent elections for governor, which saw Denny Tamaki, a radio personality turned politician, emerge victorious. Tamaki ran his campaign as a fierce critic of U.S. conduct in Okinawa. As you can see from this map, almost no part of the prefecture is free of bases, training areas, ports, ammunition depots, or other military installations. This week, Tamaki said the people he represents are overburdened by this presence.
I support the Japan-U.S. security alliance, but the people of Okinawa continue to be overburdened by the U.S. base.
Overburdened, overrun, and just completely done wrong. The JPs, we call them Japanese police, were constantly going upside the head of Marines and airmen, and mainly the Edomites, because the Edomites were the one who get over there and act the damn fool. Now, there's been a couple Jakes that go over there and act the fool as well. But what often happens is those Okinawan girls, our presence destroyed so much of their economy and so much of their way of life, and a lot of their women were forced into lives of poverty. And what happens in that? Women begin to prostitute themselves. All right, because a lot of those Marines would go over there and they, and the servicemen, and they would use these girls as prostitutes, and often they would rape them. And I watched this video all the way through. It's only like 7 minutes, but when it first came on, I looked at Denny. I already knew this dude was an Edomite. He's not even a real Ammonite, man. This dude's daddy is an Edomite, man. And that will come out. Okay? Real quick. This is Daniel 11:21. And it says, In his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries, man. And Esau came in, actually, you know, and came in peaceably after he caused the great death in that part of the world, because they're always talking about, you know, trying to control who has missile technology and who doesn't. But the only people ever to use weapons of mass destruction has been America, which is the stronghold of Esau, Edom. All right. They're the only ones who dropped bombs, and they dropped it on those Ammonites over there. Not in Okinawa itself, but on mainland Japan. They dropped two atomic bombs. All right. And then, you know, through peace and flatteries, they set up all the militaries in Okinawa so that they can keep watch and control over that part of the earth.
They would like to see reduction of U.S. bases, dramatic review of Japan-U.S. status of force.
And those Japanese are those Ammonites, I would say actually correctly, every year protests by the thousands every year to get these soldiers out of their island. And when I was in Japan, when I was in Okinawa, it was beautiful, man. It was like a tropical paradise. And I've seen the images online of how messed up the water is and the jungles are, and the landscape is completely changed with all the garbage which is left behind by the military over there. And that's all the military does. They leave industrial poisonous garbage everywhere they go.
Agreement, noise problem, and other issues like crime and accidents that occur from the presence of U.S. bases.
Mainly rapes.
Okinawa residents are strongly seeking a solution to this.
With Okinawa in question, we're joined now by Professor of History at American University, Peter Kuznick. Welcome to In Question. Peter, you've worked extensively with the people of Okinawa on this issue. Do you believe Tamaki's election will lead to any change?
Well, there's certainly strong support for change in Okinawa. Tamaki won that election pretty overwhelmingly. He won 55% of the vote. Sakima, his opponent, won only 44% of the vote. And that's despite the fact that this election was viewed as crucial by Prime Minister Abe. The government in Tokyo threw massive resources into trying to win this election. They sent some of their young stars. Koizumi's son, who is an up-and-coming star in the LDP, visited Okinawa. The governor of Tokyo visited Okinawa. They try to bribe the people of Okinawa to vote for the LDP candidate, and yet Denny won overwhelmingly.
That's because the people are tired, man. And those people that came in, those people are puppets for Esau, man. And they might even be Edomites themselves, all right, because Ammon fell for the okie doke, man, and they love Esau, man. All right. Well, I would say a good percentage of them, because some of them actually like Jake. And the reason I say that, because I was in Asia and I saw it, Thailand, Okinawa, the Philippines, and Jake didn't have to buy prostitutes. The Edomites were the main ones buying prostitutes. Jake would get the women just because they were Jake. And I saw it with my own eyes. Like it or not, it's the truth. All right? But, yeah, the only way you're going to get Esau out of Japan is by force, man. All right? There's no other way. And the Lord is going to cause these nations to rise up and do that. All right? Because Esau rules with the iron hand, man, and he's not going to budge until you make him budge, man. And his gift was the sword. Remember that. All right? The sword is how he got into that position. This is Daniel 8:25. And through his policy also shall cause craft to prosper. So dirty craft, wrongness to prosper. All right? Because they take things wrongfully, and then they set up laws and instructions and statutes and rule over something with their rule of law after they've taken it wrongfully, and then judge you on what you do within that land. That's pretty much America. America was taken by rape, robbery, murder, theft, destruction, genocide, slavery. And then they set up courts to judge people after they do these things. All right? And through his policy also he caused craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hands. So eventually it's going to come down to the Lord coming back, and Esau is going to actually try to fight against the Lord and his army, man. And you know, that's why that's that war in heaven that you saw. Okay? When the chariots show up, which the world ignorantly calls UFOs, and the fighter jets go up and try to fight against them. All right? And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. After I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it, because that was a future prophecy. All right? And Daniel couldn't understand what he was looking at when he's watching fighter jets fight so-called UFOs. All right, and the death and the blood and destruction actually made him sick. All right, it actually made him sick, and that's what's coming. That's what this is building up to. The trade war and all the currency wars. All this is going to lead up to World War III, which is really already begun. You know, the plagues all over America. Now you got this strange polio-like disease, which they can't hide anymore. A week ago it was in 15 states, now it's in 30. You know, this is a plague, and that's falling mostly on Edomite children too. I'm going to do a sit down on that, but let's continue.
People of Okinawa have made clear over and over again that they're tired of the American military presence. You have to realize that Okinawa is less than 1/2% of the landmass of Japan. And yet it contains 70% of the American bases in terms of the landmass, 70%. So, you know, we're talking about half of the 54,000 U.S. troops in Japan are located in Okinawa. So 20% of Okinawa is taken up with U.S. bases, almost 20% of the main island of Okinawa.
And why is...
It's really it's not only an unfair burden.
Well, let's get into why exactly this is. Is there a reason Okinawa is strategic to U.S. interests now, or why it was after World War II when these bases were established?
The U.S. military occupied Okinawa until the early 1970s. So at that point, the U.S. had free run of the entire island of Okinawa. Since then, they've kept their military presence intact. The argument, when I was there in 2014, I met with Al Magleby, who was the U.S. Consul General, and I asked him outright, why Okinawa? What's so essential about Okinawa, given the fact that the people are so opposed to this? And he said, no other piece of real estate has the strategic significance and value of Okinawa.
There it is.
Look where it's located in relation to North Korea. Look where it's located in relation to China. Look where it's located in relation to the issues in the East China Sea and the South China Sea. He said, we need this from America's global strategic standpoint.
And that's what this is all about. All right. Then he goes to talk about how this guy who ran, this guy Denny, his father was a U.S. Marine and he never even met him. And that's typical. And I'm almost willing to bet that that his mother might have been a victim of rape or group sex, because that's what them Edomites do, man. All right. They would rent hotel rooms and you know, like 4 or 5 guys, and they would get 1 or 2 girls and they would all, you know, gangbang them and shit like that, and then they would take pictures of it, because I saw this with my own eyes, man. This is the shit they were doing. They would come back, because the Japanese people would just print the pictures, man. And they would come back with with photos of that shit. This is what they would do, man. All right. For all we know, Denny was a result of one of those. Okay, but this is Jeremiah 49. All right, and this is shameful to you Ammonites, man. And some of you gonna watch it. All right. It says, this is Jeremiah 49:7, and I'm gonna jump around in this chapter. You know what they call Hebrew hopscotch. You know, it's called precept upon precept, morons. All right, but this is Jeremiah 49:7, and it says, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel unperished? unperished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? And it is, because some of the things that they're doing is completely stupid and make no sense, man. All right. Jumping down to verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, and I have uncovered his secret places. And he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, his neighbors, and he is not. It's going to be no more Esau, man. He's going to be no more. All right. The day is coming where there are going to be 0 Edomites. All right. Let me just check a precept before I continue. Yeah. Isaiah 17 and 14. And behold, an eventide trouble, and before the morning he is not. This is a portion of them that spoil us, and a lot of them that rob us. So Esau is going to be no more, man. He's going to vanish like a bad dream. Okay? Like a bad dream. Okay? Let's go back to Jeremiah 49 and 11. Leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. So that's telling you that we're going to have dominion and control over their children and their wives, their daughters. All right? That's what the Bible says, not me. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken. Art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. All right? And what are they going to drink of? They're going to drink of that cup of slavery, man. Esau has to go into slavery, for it is written. All right? Obadiah 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had never been. So all the heathen are going to have to drink the cup of slavery, man, because they all conspired together to put us in slavery. They all did. Everyone benefited from it, and even those who didn't physically do it, none of them spoke up. All the nations have the records. All the nations knew who we were and know who we are now. All right. But they benefited from our downfall, so they didn't say anything. All right? Jumping to verse 16. Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thy heart, of thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, thou shouldest make of thy nest as high as the eagle. Though thou make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh. All right? So Esau is going to get brought down, man, and there's nothing he can do about it. Verse 17, Jeremiah 49:17. Also Edom shall be a desolation, and everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at the plagues, all the plagues thereof. Jumping out of verse 20. Therefore hear of the counsel of Yahweh that hath taken against Edom, and his purpose, and he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them, and that least of the flock of those Israelis, because they're not Israelites, they are Hebrew Edomites. All right, and their actions over there is going to draw everyone into this war, man. Eventually. All right. So with that, I hope this was an edifying lesson. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Nabashai. Wa Abba Babal.